Hey y'all, so I'm going to try to make this quick, but I just wanted to do a quick update on Metformin. I've probably been on it for a little over 2 weeks now. Basically, I just wanted to go over my experience with it and also my plan on it. Once again, it is a diabetes medication, it is a medication for PCOS, and it is also a medication for my specific health condition that I'm not going to disclose today, but it is a health condition that I've battled with for probably 6 years now. So I'm on medication because of that health condition, and the medication that I'm on can cause a lot of weight gain. Now, up until this point, I've probably lost 20 to 30 pounds with just diet and exercise alone. I am sugar free, I'm gluten free, almost gluten free. There's a lot of other factors that have gone into me eating healthy, like being on a meal plan with small portions and low carbs. So there's a lot of things that I'm already doing and have been doing for the past 3 years to be where I'm at today. For me, a healthy weight, but still not in the range that I want to be with my height and with, my, doctor's perspective. And, once again, I don't go off the scale as much because muscle weighs more than fat. I've mentioned that many times in my other videos. But this is just going to be kind of an update, and I'll let you guys know what's going on. The first thing that I wanted to talk about, so the medication that I'm on actually raises blood sugar levels, right? So when I went and got my blood sugar checked, even though I'm sugar free and I've been sugar free for more than a month, I went and got my blood sugar levels checked. They were at a 5.4, whereas pre-diabetic is 5.7. Now, that doesn't really make sense for my healthy lifestyle and how I exercise, but when you can account for the fact that the medication I'm on actually raises blood sugar, it makes a lot more sense that I'm borderline on just a couple points away from pre-diabetic. So me getting on this medication that is to specifically working with how the body processes insulin, glucose, and it's supposed to lower blood sugar without dropping it to a hypoglycemia level. So knowing this about metformin is actually, it's a really good thing that I've started this medication long term to be in a healthy range for my blood sugar, for my weight, etc., etc., etc. So a new kind of factor that was thrown into kind of my journey that I'll just go ahead and talk to you guys about today was the fact that I was actually diagnosed with hypothyroidism. And I'm still gonna get more blood work done before I start medication for it, because there was a couple things on my lab results that I went over with my endocrinologist. So just to give you a rundown on how the thyroid works, right? So the pituitary gland at the base of the neck, I think it's either above or below the hypothalamus, it releases a chemical that is basically turns into TSH, which is the activator for your hormones, your blood pressure, your metabolism, how your liver processes. The thyroid controls all of these things in the body. So TSH creates T3 and T4, right? And these hormones then eventually create estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, you name it. They give hormones, natural hormones to the body that the body needs. When your TH levels are high and your T3 and T4 are low, that is symbolic of hypothyroidism, where your thyroid is underactive and not producing enough hormone. So the only thing that I had to go over with my endocrinologist was the fact that my TSH was high, but my T3 was in a was in a higher range too, which is usually indicative of hyperactive thyroid, where your thyroid is working too much and producing too much hormone. So when I talked to her about this, she actually brought up an interesting thing, that there could have been either A, a lab glitch, or B, it could have been the biotin in my multivitamin. So I was taking a multivitamin that had 200 milligrams of biotin. Biotin is like good for hair, skin, and nails. The biotin actually could possibly skew the results for the T3 and T4. So she told me, come back in 2 weeks, get retested, do blood work, and stop taking the multivitamin until you get the blood work done. So if you're going in for thyroid testing, make sure you're not on a multivitamin that has biotin or a supplement that has biotin, because it will mess with your lab results. Now, that being said, that's another factor that has gone into the weight gain. And so when I talked to my endocrinologist, she basically laid out a plan for me with metformin to work with my weight and to work with my blood sugar levels, where I've been on a 500 milligram dose for the past 2 weeks plus. And she wants to now increase me to 1,000 milligrams. And then in 2 weeks, as my body adjusts to that, increase me to the 2,000 milligrams. Now, this is what I will say. When you first start taking metformin, the biggest thing to remember is to take it 15 to 20 minutes after a meal. If you take it right when you eat, or before you eat, or without food, you're gonna have upset stomach, nausea. I mean, the list goes on. You're gonna have upset stomach because it upsets the gut. Okay, so you gotta take it with food first and foremost, and you have to take it 15 to 20 minutes after you've eaten. Every time I've taken it 15 to 20 minutes after I've eaten, I've never had a problem, never had nausea, never had upset stomach. And usually taking it at night helps people a lot with not having some of those problems. So that's number one. Number two is that extended release, which she's about to put me on for the 1,000 milligrams. Extended release is actually the easiest, most tolerable on the body, right? It's not going to cause as much side effects or symptoms or upset stomach as the regular dose where all that medicine is hitting you right at once. So if you are asking your doctor about metformin, ask about extended release. My doctor knew exactly what I was talking about. And I had talked to someone else who's on the exact medication that I'm on, and they told me they were able to lose the weight that they gained from the medication, which increases blood sugar in the blood. They were able to lose that weight on metformin. And so once again, this medication does not work unless you work out 4 to 5 times a week, are sugar-free, try to cut back on gluten. Like these things, these drugs do not work in the way they're supposed to work if your diet and exercise is not aligning with them. So this is not a replacement for diet and exercise. And even when I've done a lot of research with other people who have been put on metformin, they have said themselves that their doctor has specifically asked them to stay away from sugar, to work out 4 to 5 times a week, to eat healthy, smaller portions, low carbs, right? Low carbs. So at first when I started taking it, I thought, I asked my doctor, like, do I need to have some like fruit juice or something, like to make sure that my blood sugar is not dropping to, an abnormal level? And she said, no. That's the one good thing about metformin, is that it regulates how your body interacts with insulin and glucose, but it doesn't lower your blood sugar to the point where like you would be lightheaded or pass out or be hypoglycemic. And this was actually a revolutionary drug that was created in the 1950s in Europe, but then also tested and done studies in around the 1990s. And when this drug came on the market, it was game changing for people with diabetes. And as they studied this drug and as they worked with this drug, they realized that it actually is good for PCOS and also people who are on medications that raise blood sugar or that work with blood sugar and glucose and insulin, right? And so it's actually derivative of an herb. Berberine is actually one of the herbs that works kind of very similar to metformin. It does some of the same things, but is a little bit more tolerable in the gut. So if you want to check out berberine as well, that's another great medication that's natural, all natural. That's an herb. But metformin is also a derivative of an herb. It's just also a pharmaceutical drug, So for me, I'm already on a lot of pharmaceutical drugs for other health conditions that can't be treated any other way. So it's like, what's one more, right? And I do have to go over with my doctor, like how long I'm going to be on this. She also said that with hypothyroid, birth control use up to 10 years and past 10 years can actually cause hypothyroid. So I'm planning on switching my birth control method to something that's not giving me estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, all those hormones, because right now I'm on the pill, and the pill gives you those synthetic hormones. So your body, doesn't, produce the egg or whatever it is. And so basically, she said if you're on birth control for up to 10 years or past 10 years, which I mean, I've been on it since I was probably 22, 23. She was like, it's gonna be one of those things where you have to switch out your birth control method. You can't stay on that pill, and it can definitely cause problems with the thyroid. So that's something that I didn't know, and something that was a little bit surprising for me, but something that, I was, okay, like if this is what I need to do to get my hormones back in balance, because just last year I had the same test and I was totally fine. So what happened in the last year to make this, a problem? And also, we have to talk about genetics, because, my family, my mom's side, they all have hypothyroid issues. My cousins have hypothyroid issues, especially the women. And so it's just one of those things that runs in my family. And a lot of people have experienced symptoms. Now for me, a lot of the symptoms with hypothyroid are like fatigue, hair loss. Like there's a lot of things. I haven't specifically experienced any symptoms other than, just being sensitive to cold. I'm very sensitive to cold, which I've always thought is because I have anemia, but she said, you may not be symptomatic because you're right on the border of hypothyroidism. You're not full blown yet. So it's possible that she's going to give me 2 weeks to see if my thyroid kind of corrects on itself, and also to redo the blood work with the biotin and the T3. And then we're going to reconvene after the next lab test and go over what medication is best for me. The medication that was previously prescribed dealt with T4 and was a medication that increased T4. But for me, my T4 levels were normal. But once again, you have to understand that the thyroid is kind of a feedback loop system that all works together. So it's one of those things that if one thing is out of order, all of it has to come back into alignment, right? And so she's going to put me on a medication. If my lab results come back that they're still abnormal, she will put me on a medication that will give me those hormones that I need for my body when my thyroid is not producing enough of them. And then as I get off the birth control, with the synthetic hormones, this thyroid medication will kind of come into play a little bit more and be able to regulate my hormones. Now, maybe I won't have to be on this medication for life. Maybe I will. I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism in high school. And that was, when I was dealing with a lot of weight gain and stuff like that. But with diet and exercise and changing, I went vegan for a while. I was very healthy. I was very whole foods based. And that kind of corrected itself. So there's times when you have health issues, especially for women, where your body can, correct itself. So you always want to give it that chance. If there is something with a lab glitch or something going on, that the body can correct itself. But if it's not correcting itself, then that's when you need to talk about medication, right? And so that's kind of been another thing that kind of put a light bulb on in my head of like, why is this, like stubborn layer of fat, like not budging anywhere when I'm changing my diet, when I'm going sugar free, when I'm working out 5 times a week. And I'm not saying that, yes, I'm building muscle. Yes, I'm not 30 pounds heavier like I used to be. I've lost a lot of that weight through diet and exercise, but there's still this layer that fluctuates that I haven't been able to kind of understand. And the hypothyroidism might be a huge key to that. So this is my suggestion for you guys, like, especially if you're going on a weight loss journey, or if you're going on a health and wellness journey, or if you're going to drastically change your diet and like go see a doctor. You know what I mean? Like see a doctor, talk to your doctor, get your levels checked, get your blood checked. There's so many different factors that go into weight gain and weight loss that you might not be aware of certain health conditions that are just making it super hard for you. I've heard of so many women that have gone to their doctor with these concerns because they're overweight, because they can't lose the weight, because they're trying everything else. And their doctors basically kind of give them the, well, you might be sneaking donuts, or other people outside of their doctors kind of give them, well, you're probably sneaking donuts on the side. You know, there are health conditions like PCOS, hypothyroid, you name it, the endometriosis. There are conditions, especially in women, that create weight gain that makes it extremely hard to lose weight on diets, on exercise alone, you know? So definitely talk to your doctor in case there's underlying health issues that you need to get figured out before you actually start. And I will say, once you are diagnosed with a health issue, or if you are diagnosed with a health issue, remember that the medication they put you on is not going to replace diet and exercise. You have to work out at least 4 times a week. You have to eat healthy, whole foods, less processed foods, you know, not snacking, being sugar free, you know, healthy snacks, you know, like fruit and, you know, veggies, hummus, you know, what you name it, you know. And so you got to remember that diet and exercise, drugs cannot replace that. That is vital. You know what I mean? And like you see with a lot of people with Ozempic and Wegovy, you know, and these are people that are specifically taking it for weight loss, not people with diabetes. I am not including those people and when I refer to this, but it's kind of been like a trending drug, right? Where it's like people are like, oh, I don't have to exercise, I don't have to eat healthy, I can just take this and lose the weight. It's not healthy, you know. That's not how to set up a healthy lifestyle, right? We need the diet, we need the exercise, we need to move our body, you know. Even if you're doing 3 times a week 30-minute walks or whatever it is, you know, start small. It's fine to start small, you know, but move your body, get your body moving, you know. It's going to improve circulation, it's going to improve the lymphatic system, it's anti-inflammatory. And think about anti-inflammatory diets, you know. Gluten and carbs can be inflammatory, you know. When you cut that out, when you lower your carb intake, when you lower your gluten intake, you're taking away some of the inflammation, which can cause bloating, gut problems. It can cause, you know, weight gain or whatever it is, you know. So think about these things as you're going into your health and wellness journey. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I wanted to make it kind of just quick and to the point, and I will come back with an update of my new lab results. And also I'm gonna do a 1 month and maybe a 2 month metformin update, updates, so you guys can see pictures of before and after, because when I was researching metformin, there were so many doctors talking about it, but not a lot of people on YouTube that were just talking about their personal experience with metformin. So I want to be open and honest with you guys so you can actually get the information that you need, or other people can see this and know exactly what to expect with metformin and how to use the drug and what it does to the body. So I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I will be back with an update, so stay tuned, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.